Hello, Summer. Hello, Yoslin. And hello, Fluke. Happy New Year. Long time no see. Hello, Stid. How are you? I can't complain. Sometimes we say, I can't complain, or I could, but nobody would listen. Excuse me. Am I going to play drums or teach English? I am going to teach English right now. I may play drums later. But the truth is, if you want to learn from me, then you have to accept both. You cannot just say, no, I don't like Teacher Mark's drumming. I only want to watch him teach. Sorry. No. If you want to appreciate something, you need to appreciate all of it, not just some of it. And if you like any of my ideas about language, then you should appreciate my music, because every idea that I have about learning English came from me learning music. And music is one of the greatest creations man has ever made. It may even be the greatest creation. Music is divine. Hello, Peter. Hello, Bisharo. Okay, so this is the part where I stand here and I answer your questions. So I am standing here, I'm doing my part. So now it's your turn to do your part. Oh, who is this on my shirt? You guys don't know who this is? You don't know who this is? Really? Oh, man, I'm old. This is Animal from the Muppets. The Muppets was a TV show in the 1980s, but actually they just started the Muppets again. They just did a new version of it this year. So you should watch it, the new one. But when I was a kid, the Muppets TV show, it was really, really, really famous, and Animal was the reason why I'm a drummer. He's one of the biggest reasons why I became a drummer, was because of Animal. Animal. You have a doubt. What is your doubt? Yes, I see the YouTube comments. It's not from Sesame Street, but it's related to that. So, no, it's not. You think it's Elmo. It's not Elmo. No, it's not Elmo. Here, I'll show you who it is. Wait a minute. It's easier if I just show you. I really do need to raise my table up so I can type. Let's see. So this is animal.
Hey, I thought some of you might like to know a little bit more about our drummer, who we affectionately refer to as
That's
Animal.
animal.
That's his name, actually. Animal, why don't you tell our audience how long you've been playing drums? One, two, 5 years. Yes. Okay. Why? I guess your drums mean a great deal to you, huh? You like more than food, I guess. How symbolic.
Anyway, that's animal. That's Frog. That's Kermit the Frog. Yeah, Kermit the Frog was really famous in the 1980s, everybody. I'm old. I grew up in the 80s. So I am wearing my animal t-shirt today. Animal. Ah. All right, let's see. Do I have any other questions already today? Why am I standing while streaming? Hajar, because the truth is, Hajar, I don't like to sit when I teach because it's weird. Teachers shouldn't be sitting. They should be standing. So, I prefer to stand so I can move around and I can be more animated and I can use my hands and I'm not sitting for 2 hours, you know? So that's one reason. Just to change it up every once in a while, but I prefer to stand, Yeah, so can you learn drumming from scratch? Sure, everybody learns from scratch. Why not? From scratch means from nothing, like you don't know anything. So scratch is a slang term. It's an old slang term. It means nothing. So from scratch means from nothing. So his name is Animal. That is his name, Animal. Teacher, the other day I read that the U.S., it's correct to eat with your left hand. No, I've never heard this before. Where did you hear that, Jandis? You eat with whichever hand you eat with. If you're right-handed, you eat with your right hand. If you're left-handed, you eat with your left hand. People eat with whatever hand that they want to. Some people use their feet. I look young? Well, good. I'm glad I look young. I'm not. I'm not young. You're preparing for your general IELTS exam. Stid, have you looked at my website? Did you see all the IELTS links on my website for studying? You should, if you haven't yet. How can I be a good English speaker from scratch? Because I understand English, but you can't speak. So, I'm going to guess that's Mohammed. Mohammed Taymor, you said, I can't speak. How many times did you try? How many times did you try to speak? Everybody says, I can't. And it's always like, you only tried a couple times? Don't say you can't. Say you didn't. Okay? Almost everybody who comes here and they say, Teacher Mark, I can't do this, I can't do that. They always say, I can't. And then I ask them how many times did they try to do it, and they say like 10 times or 15 times or not many times. Then you didn't do it. You say you can't. Don't say you can't. Say I didn't. I didn't do it yet because you only did it a few times. Okay? So really, honestly, the number one thing that you need to do is try to speak more. But if you can't, then try to think more. And if you think more, then speaking will be easier. The more you think in English, the easier it will be to speak English. But if you never think in English, then of course, every time you try to speak English, you will not be able to. Okay? In Duolingo, well, Duolingo I think is wrong. I have never heard of such a thing. I will look it up very quickly just to see. U.S. left hand eating. Nope, not true. As a matter of fact, this says the opposite. It says, while the left hand is used for holding the food while cutting, it is rarely used to bring food to the mouth, as the fork is switched to the right hand. So, there is no strong social stigma against using the left hand to eat, or the U.S. or the right hand. No, I've never heard of such a thing. Nope. Duolingo is wrong. It happens every once in a while. I don't know what they thought they were writing about, but that's not right. You can send me a link to it if you want, and maybe I'll see what they're talking about. Scratch, Flavia, from scratch means from nothing. Like the word to scratch something. That's scratching. Do I know Kumen? No. Can I help you pronounce the word state and the word stage? Stage, Peter. The end of stage is like, well, let me think of what's the closest thing in Chinese. It's like the sound of like zhong, zhong, zh, right? Zhong, right? So if you say stage, stage, zhong, zhong, so it's the same as j, right? Zhong. So stage, but the other one is state, hard T. Okay, Stid, speaking every day is good. Just remember, I always say thinking is more important than speaking. And let me go back and check to see. I am seeing your YouTube questions, but you didn't write one yet. You said you have a doubt, but I don't see what your doubt is. Is that the only thing that you're doubting? Did I see the comments? I see the comments. The word laying and putting, sometimes you get confused. Well, sometimes they are the same. If you lay something on the table or you put something on the table, that's the same, pretty much, depending on what it is, but most of the time. Put is more general. Put is a very general word. Put it up, put it down, put it over, put it on. There are lots of put words, okay? Or put it things, phrasal verbs. But laying is for anything that you're going to put at a horizontal position. So when you lay down, you're standing, then you're laying. You're in a horizontal position. Okay? So scratching and itching are pretty much the same. Okay. Scratch sometimes means that you cut the skin, right? So maybe a cat will scratch you, right? But if I do this, you could call it scratching, you can call it itching. It's really this no difference, okay? You're right, I don't try because I don't have a partner because everyone speaks Urdu around me. And that's why I said you don't need a partner. You need to stop thinking in Urdu all the time. That's your problem. Taimur, you're saying that your environment is not an English environment. And you think your environment is outside. But what about the inside environment, Taimur? Mohammed, what about this environment? Is this environment an English environment, or is this environment an Urdu environment? You need to change your mind environment to be English. Spend more time with English in this environment, not this one. Okay? How many minutes do I do? It's different every time. I do as long as I feel like doing. Sometimes it's an hour, sometimes it's 2 hours, sometimes it's 4 hours. I'm answering questions. So if you have a question, then answer it. Or ask it. I'll answer it. Ooh, that got switched. Duolingo has an international certificate which is similar to the CEFR or IELTS. Okay. Yes, I'm aware of that. Is there a soft D or G? Is it not necessary to pronounce in stage? So G has two pronunciations, hard G, 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 and soft G, j, j, j. And the soft G, sometimes there are words like the word judge. But do you hear a D in there? No, not really. So you get confused because you see the D and you think you really need to pronounce it strongly, but you don't. In this case, there is no D. It just has that soft G sound. Stage. J. It's not stage. J. It's not j. It's stage. J. Okay? Can I explain the difference between lean and lead? D. Azim, lean. Okay? You've been learning English from watching Breaking Bad. You didn't know it's full of slang. Yes, it is full of slang. It's a great show, Jandis, but just remember, yeah, that's a show that's full of a lot of slang, so a lot of that is common language, but not language that you would want to use everywhere. Okay? The language of the drug dealer is not often the language you want to use every day of your life. Okay, what's the difference between G like stage and J? There is not a strong difference. It depends on the word. So let me think of a good example. Like the word jug. J-U-G, jug. J. It's very similar in sound, right? It's pretty much the same, okay? You need to remember, sometimes you are thinking about the spelling because you're thinking about the pronunciation. So when the pronunciation is strange, then you think, wait a minute, but the spelling is weird. Because, guys, sometimes the spelling has nothing to do with the pronunciation. How crazy is that? Sometimes the spelling is just about the history of the word. All right? Sometimes the word is very old and that's the way it's been spelled for a long time, but the pronunciation changed over time. So that's why it sounds different than it looks. Okay? And then that confuses you. I understand. What's the most important lesson in life that I've learned so far? Just because you can doesn't mean you should. That's one of the best ones. Wisdom begins when you understand that just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do something. Almost all wisdom begins with this basic premise that you need to learn restraint. Why do I have to use were? If I were rich, I would buy a plane. So, Alexander, if you say if I was rich, that's real. Okay? If I was rich, then I would do this. That's you're saying like if I won the lottery, right? But let me show you. Hold on. Let me pull up my page about this. I have a page. I just talked about this yesterday, I think. So when you say if I were, that's for anything that's not real. It's a hypothetical, right? If I, like for example, if I were you, right? I'm not you. But that's if I were you. If I were a millionaire, I would travel the world. Okay? If I were you, I would take that job. Okay? That's for that it's called the subjunctive, all right? Although you don't need to remember that. But when you say was, that's for things that actually happened in the past, like I apologize if I was rude before, or if I was wrong, I'm sorry. Okay, now that's for real things, right? So the way it's supposed to be is if it's a hypothetical situation, like if I were a bird, I would fly every day. Whatever. That's a hypothetical that's impossible. Okay? Hypothetical impossibles, if I were. Advice, if I were. Right? If I were you, I would take this job. Okay? But if it's for a past thing that you really did, if I was rude, if I was wrong, then that's for real things in the past, okay, or possibilities, okay? But, however, the reason why you are confused is because this is an example of something that many people commonly don't use properly. Many people will say, if I was a millionaire, but it's not supposed to be if I was a millionaire. It's supposed to be if I were a millionaire. Okay, so this is a common mistake that many people say. Because it's said, then it gets commonly made by everybody. Okay? All right. Tight. You guys are killing me. Oh, that's funny. I know exactly what you're talking about. That's so funny. Thank you, Withwick. This is Animal, the Muppets. Animal, the drummer. If I were a boy. Yeah, so that's right. But you're not. That's correct. Now, if you said, if I was a boy, I could speak and nobody would say anything. So maybe you're in a classroom and the girl, you're the only girl, and they're not listening to you because you're a girl, okay? And then you say, if I was a boy, you would listen to me. Now, in this case, you're saying a was, that's a real thing. That's a real thing in the past. All right? So that's where it gets confusing sometimes. What does fade out mean? Well, where did you hear it, Paul? It has a few different meanings. Fade out is a term that comes from music. In the end of a song, when the song gets softer and softer and softer and softer and softer, that's called the fade. It's called fading out the song. And so there is a slang term. I'm fading out. It's like maybe you went to a party and you're too tired, or you drank too much or something like that, and you think you're tired and you want to pass out, you want to go to sleep, or you're just tired. You could just say, I'm fading. I need to go home. I'm fading out. Means I'm running out of energy. Okay? Like the end of the song. Can't fix stupid. What does that mean? That means that if you are dumb, then you probably don't know that you are dumb. And if you don't know that you are dumb, then you can't fix it. So sometimes people are stupid, but they don't know that they're stupid. And if you don't know you're stupid, you can never be smart. So, honestly, smart people usually are the ones who say, I'm not that smart, because they know there is so much to learn, right? So, I am not that smart. There are so many things that I do not know about. There are so many things that I am not good at or that I need to learn more about, okay? But there are lots of people who... Evolution has taught us that you should feel like you know what you're doing. But just because you feel like you know what you're doing doesn't mean you really do. So most people who walk around in life, everybody walks around feeling like they know what they're doing. But do they? Do they all know what they're doing? There are some people who maybe they just don't understand that they don't understand. Hello, Esther. You want to say something, but you don't know how to say it. I'm not sure what to do with that, Bisharo. You want to say something to me? Or you want to just say something, period? Can fade out be used for an image? Yes, it can also be used for visuals. Fading is also for the end of a movie, right? But if I recall, I'm pretty sure the fade began in music and then was used for movies and TV and video also, right? So anytime it goes to black, fade to black. That's what they say. Fade to black, fade to white. Yeah. Okay. Isn't it called compounded ignorance? Well, no, it's called the Dunning-Kruger effect. In psychology, they call it the Dunning-Kruger effect. It means that you can't know how dumb you are because of how dumb you are. You can't know how stupid you are if you're stupid. And it usually means that it's just really important. You need to understand the connection between intelligence and humility. There's a strong connection between intelligence and humility, in my opinion, because the smart people always say they're still learning. The smart people always know that they don't know. There's so much they don't know. So they assert themselves when they know something clearly, but they still reserve some level of open mind to learn. But some people, they think they know, and that's all they need to know, and they don't leave any room for learning or open-mindedness or anything. That means that you can't fix that person. They will probably stay that way, because they're not able to be aware of their problem. If you can't be aware of a problem, then you can't fix it. You can't change it. You know? It's interesting why we use two verbs for singular plural. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. What about faded? Well, it depends. Sometimes it means I'm drunk. Let's see. Let me see. Yeah, that's the one that comes up when I type it in. It means intoxicated. Okay? You want to say you no longer present this room for the past 7 or 8 months, you became too busy. Yeah, okay, so you're back now. Okay, so start again. It's the title of a sad song, Faded. Well, it could have any number of meanings. That's one meaning, but maybe the person who wrote the song, they might have meant something else. It's possible. It's difficult to understand phrasal verbs. They are difficult. You should learn them a little bit at a time. Learn them in groups, Azim. So choose one word like get, and then look at all the phrasal verbs that use get. Get in, get on, get over, get through, get with, all of them. And then look at those and pick the ones that you think you will use. Pick the ones that you think are good, right? So when you learn a bunch of phrasal verbs, maybe some of them won't be that useful to you, so don't worry about those. Choose the ones that you feel are useful and then focus on those. All right? So start with learning all the words in one group. Choose a verb and then learn the words with that, the phrasal verbs with that verb, right? Then select the ones of that group that you like, the ones that you feel will be useful for you. Okay? Don't worry. Be happy. Ooh, 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 ooh. Bobby McFerrin. I love Bobby McFerrin. Don't worry. Be happy. Don't, Homer. Can you tell us some expressions with colors? Sure. Yeah, there are lots of them. Here's a good one. Let me show you a website that's perfect for that. There is this website called theidioms.com. If you go to this website, and then I'll share it with you so you can see. Okay, go here. Okay, theidioms.com, and look, they have an A to Z index. Okay, whoops, let's get rid of this ad. There's the A to Z index, but then they also have a topics index. So let's go here and look and see. Do we see colors? Where's colors? There, color. Okay, so look, all these are topics that you can choose to learn about idioms about that topic. So let's look at color. So green cheese means a foolish or absurd belief, but I've never heard of that one. Let's see. Yellow press means, well, these aren't. Well, yeah, no, that is color. Okay. Yellow press means journalism that's not real journalism. You know, the kind of stuff that talks about celebrity stuff, and they make a lot of exaggerated claims. That's yellow press. Red cent means something of no value. It wasn't worth a red cent, whatever that means. Off color, right? Something is off color. It means it's not appropriate. Don't make off color remarks in my classroom. Okay, purple patch. I think that's a British one. I don't know that one. But look, you can, a gray area. A gray area means it's not white, it's not black, it's gray, right? So you have to talk about it. It's like not clear. Okay? So this is a good website that you can go to try to learn some idioms. Okay? The cup is big. Yeah, because I don't want to have to go refill my cup all the time. And I'm drinking iced coffee, as I always do. How many months will it take you to learn English fluently? You are from Somalia, so let me ask you, how many months will it take me to learn Arabic? Fluently. Does it sound like a silly question when I ask about it in Arabic? Bisharo, there is no amount of time. It's different for everyone. Everyone learns differently. In Somalia, they speak Arabic too, don't they? I know they have Somali, but... Oh, you don't know Arabic. Okay, I'm wrong. Okay, I apologize. I thought most spoke both, but I'm wrong. See, I learn sometimes. So, if I said, how long will it take me to learn, how many months will it take me to be fluent in Somali? What would you say? That wasn't the point. You're missing the point. How many months will it take for me to be fluent in Somali if I start today? Okay, thank you. Bisharo, it's like learning a musical instrument. When you learn a musical instrument, are you ever finished learning the piano? Are you ever finished learning the guitar? Are you ever finished learning the violin? No, you are never, ever, ever finished. Okay? It doesn't take 2 years. Sometimes it takes 10 years. Sometimes it takes 2 months. Sometimes it takes 222 years. Every person is different in how they learn. And it is silly. It is silly to say, oh, it only takes 2 months to learn this. There are 8 billion people on this planet. They all learn differently. That's 8 billion different answers about how long it takes to learn. Okay? Everybody learns differently. And I don't know, because are you going to study really hard? Are you going to study every day? Are you going to really, 8 hours? Do you have books? Do you have videos? Do you have apps? Do you have teachers? Do you have friends? Do you have live streams? Do you have podcasts? Do you have what you need? So there are so many factors that go into this, right? How much time will you study? How will you study? Lots of things go into this, all right? But, Bisharo, when you are on a long journey, if you're walking through the desert, you don't look forward. You look down. Why? If you're walking through the desert for a long time, a very long distance, why don't you look that way? Why do you look this way? Why do you look down? Anyone? Because if you're on a long journey, if you're taking a long trip somewhere, It's better if you just keep your eyes on your feet and keep your feet moving. Just move forward. Keep looking down and keep moving forward. Okay? Because sometimes when you look that far, you feel like you're not getting anywhere, and you really are not paying attention. You are not paying attention to what you should be paying attention to. You're looking down there when you should be looking here. This is what you're doing now. You're not there yet. Why are you thinking about that? Okay? So if you're doing something very difficult, like studying something very difficult, sometimes you shouldn't look at the end. You should look right on the steps you're taking. Look down at your feet and just keep moving forward. Yes, I mean, don't think about how long it takes. Basharo, every parent, right? When you take a trip, if you take a trip and you have kids in the back of the car, are we there yet? Are we there yet, Mom? Are we there yet? Are we there yet, Dad? They're asking about, are you there yet? And what will my mom say? They'll say, no, we're not there yet. Shut up. They'll say, look out the window. Look out the window. Stop talking about how long it takes to get there. Just look out the window. All right? So, yeah, don't talk about, are we there yet? Don't talk about, are we there yet? Just drive. Just move. Enjoy the journey. That's right. Okay? Good. All right. Where's the music stream? I might play some music in a little bit. Okay. Yes, I mean, you should focus on the present and focus on what you're doing right now. Because sometimes when you're learning, you just need to think about it like you're walking through the desert. Looking forward doesn't really help you at all, as long as you're moving in the right direction, right? As long as you know that's the right direction, okay, then you keep that direction, but just keep moving forward. Keep one foot in front of the other. That's all you need to think about. Keep putting one foot in front of the other every day. That's how you stay consistent, and that's how you make progress. If you keep focusing on the end, and by the way, here's the other thing. When you take a journey, when you take a trip, there is an end. But when you learn, there is no end. So you're looking for an end that doesn't exist. Okay? So if you want to learn fast, you have to look out the window. Well, sometimes, yeah. It depends on what you're trying to learn. That's a metaphor. Looking out the window means paying attention to what you're doing now. Focus on the moment. Focus on being intensely passionate about studying. Don't think about the end, because if you're thinking about the end, then you're not doing it well. Okay? If I play music, if I'm playing a song, okay? If I think about the end of the song, then I'm not thinking right about what I'm doing at that moment. Do you understand? I'm playing the song. I'm supposed to be thinking about what I'm doing at that moment in the song. So, if I'm thinking about the end of the song, that's not good. That's not good. You have to think about what you're doing at the moment, so that you can do it well and focus. Okay? If you're thinking about there, then you aren't here. How about that? If you're thinking about there, then you aren't here. You think you are improving. You are, for sure you're improving, Flavia. You've been coming here for a long time. I am certain that you have improved. I am certain. Okay? All right, now, if you want to ask me questions, you should. You should ask me questions in the chat. That's what I'm here for. Okay? If you want to come talk to me, you can do that too, but you also need to have a question. Okay? I don't want to just chat. No offense. but I didn't turn on the camera just to say, "Hey, how you doing? What's up? Did you have a good breakfast?" Okay? I'm here to teach. I'm here to help. I'm not really here to chat. Okay? But I think in some cases we have to think about they're talking about risk. Well, sure. The metaphor that I'm referring to, Darwin, I'm referring to learning. In learning, there's not usually a lot of risk involved. There's not usually a lot of risk involved in studying, all right? Now, if you apply this metaphor to everything, then yes, of course. It's not the same metaphor when you're driving. When you're driving, you do need to think about the actual destination. So learning is not the same thing as that, right? Okay? So what I'm trying to get you to understand is just the idea of sometimes when you think about the end point, if you're thinking about the end point, then you aren't thinking about what you're doing right now. That's it. If you're thinking about the end, then you're not going to be doing it well now. Okay? There's no chair near you. Why do I not get tired? I don't get tired standing. No, of course not. Because I can move around. I can cha-cha. So no, I prefer to stand when I'm teaching. Don't most teachers stand? Don't most teachers stand? Thank you, Nora. I look handsome today. I look handsome every day. Even when I'm ugly. Okay, I'm waiting for more questions. If you have them, you should ask me. I see Derville. You raised your hand. Right, You raised your hand, Derville. But I'm confused, Derville, because you have an American flag and you say you're a native English speaker, but you're learning Hindi. So if you're a native English speaker, then what do you want to ask me? I'm usually here to help the non-native speakers. I look handsome when I'm playing drums from above. Yeah, that's a good shot because then you can't see my face. I'm most handsome when you can't see my face. I'm from the U.S. I live in Ohio. Let's see. What does that mean you're in the top 8 in Hello Talk? Dima, I think that's like top 8 live streams that are happening right now. something like that. I don't think it's about subscribers. I do have a lot of subscribers, but I don't think I'm the most. Risky what? What now? What did I miss? I'm Mariano. I'm sorry. I'm not sure what I was talking about at that moment. I missed that question. Alejandra, I speak Chinese. And I know a little bit about a lot of other languages. Hola, yo soy Mark. Mucho gusto. Ohio, Gazumon. Yeah, that's right. Ohio is where I live, and Ohio has two meanings. The meaning of Ohio is a state in the United States, which that word comes from a Native American word that means beautiful river, because the Ohio River is a big river. And in Japanese, the word Ohio means good morning. What's the difference between itchy and twitch? Itchy is when something makes you want to do this, right? So if a mosquito bites you, then you are itchy. It's itchy. Or sometimes maybe your clothes are itchy. You know, like certain clothes, they make you feel itchy, right? If the material is itchy. Okay, but twitch, the word twitch means to move involuntarily. So if my hand starts doing this, but it's not, I'm not trying to do it. I'm not trying to do it. It's just moving. That's a twitch. Okay? So maybe sometimes you'll see somebody, they'll get really angry and their eye will be like this. When they're angry, their eye is twitching. Okay? Can you learn English by watching movies effectively? Not only movies. If you're trying to watch with only movies, then no. Okay, so if you are new here, hello, I am not new. I have been on Hello Talk for more than 12 years. I have been teaching live streams here for about 6 years. I've done more than 1,300 of these. I have 88,000 followers around the world. But I get asked these questions every day. The same questions over and over. How can I be fluent? How can I learn vocabulary better? How can I not forget words? How can I improve my pronunciation? I get asked these things every single day. Now, what does that mean? That means you need to come here and you need to listen and pay attention. Okay? And then you need to go to my YouTube channel and you need to go to my website, and you need to go to my blog. Okay? Go explore those, then come back and watch and listen and ask more questions. Okay? Todd has 169,000. Wow, I'm not surprised. He lives in China. You have a little bit of an advantage if you live in China. Yeah. And the truth is that I kind of stopped caring about my numbers. I was growing at about 1,000 a week, maybe a little more than that, a while ago. Like last year, I was going at about maybe 1,000 a week. But now I don't really care. So it's maybe like 300 or 400 a week, something like that. 200 a week. So, you like the... it's not Elmo, Waleed. This is not Elmo, Waleed. This is Animal Elmo is from the 2000s. Animal is from 1985. It's time to move on to your YouTube channel. I don't know what you mean by that, Jandis. I am on my YouTube channel. Is it a disease to twitch? No, it's not a disease. No, it's just an involuntary movement. What helps you to speak English fluently? Go read my article about fluency. This article right here. I'm going to put this article here, but look, here's the problem with most people today. You want the answers, but you don't want to do any work. That's 90% of everyone in the world today. They say, I want to learn English, but saying it is easy. Doing it is not. So, why am I telling you this? Because you asked me, how can I be fluent? You asked me, how can I be fluent? And I gave you the article. Now you have to go read it. But if you don't go read it, then please just don't come back. Please don't come back. Because that's the answer. The answer is right there. If you are too lazy to go read it, then I don't want you in my room. I'm a good one, but I have a temper sometimes. I do have a temper sometimes. Yeah, I'm a human being. And sometimes you're supposed to get angry. Anger is not bad. Anger is only bad if it's not appropriate. But it is appropriate sometimes. Okay. Can I summarize? I can, and I have. Libra, I have summarized those at least 100 times, maybe 200 times. Maybe 200 times. Okay, so if you can't understand it, if you can't understand the article, then you should copy it and paste it and then ask ChatGPT to help you understand it. That's another good use of ChatGPT. If you're reading an article and you really want to understand, but the language is too hard for you, you can ask ChatGPT to make it more simple for you to understand. Okay? I posted the article. Bishar, did you not see it? It's right there. It's right here. Okay, you have to copy that and paste it. Copy that and paste it into your browser. Then you can open it. Okay, oh, and you'll have to subscribe. But it's free. It's free. You just have to give an email. Okay, then after you give an email, you can read all of the articles. Okay? And that should be the first article. Should I join any institute for English fluency and article essay writing? I don't know, Adnan. Should you? I have no idea. I don't know you. I don't know what you want. I don't know what your goals are. So I don't know what institute you're talking about. It could be a terrible institute, so no. It could be a great institute, so yes. It could be expensive, so no. It could be cheap, so yes. I don't know. Maybe you should. So, if you are new, my suggestion is that you watch some of my live streams on YouTube. Okay? If you are new, I suggest you go back and watch some of my live streams, because what do I do here? I stand here and I answer questions, and they are about grammar and vocabulary and pronunciation and reading and writing and listening and speaking, and how to be fluent and how to think in English, and how to improve your writing and how to improve your listening and how to improve your accent. I have answered every question that you can think of. I challenge you. Please, I beg you, give me a question that I haven't answered yet. Because I have. So, all the answers are on my YouTube. All you have to do is just watch and take some notes. Really. But many people won't. Thank you, Paul. What does tough mean? Oh, I think you mean though. Though at the end of a sentence. It's called contradictory though, Magdalene. It's so, for example, maybe I say, I really want to go to the park today, but it's really cold outside. I can say that, and that's fine. But sometimes we'll add the word though on the end of it, and the word though makes you understand that it's contradictory. Contradictory means against, right? So I want to go to the park is this one. This is I want to go to the park, but it's cold outside. They are against each other. That's against, right? So the though word, the though helps you understand that the part B is against part A. All right? And though makes it softer. So if I say, I want to go to the park today, but it's cold. All right? Or I want to go to the park today, but it's cold though. Okay, so though is a way to make it a little softer and make it understood that it's going against what you wanted in some way. I want to be skinny, but I'm always craving to eat though. Yes, that's exactly it. That's contradictory though. That's right. Yes. Yeah, paste it into your browser. Your browser means, like, where do you look on the internet? Google, right? So that's a website. Paste it to where you look for the internet, okay? Ooh, let's see, what is this? My Spanish isn't that good. It's carnival time in the Canary Islands now. Is there a carnival in the United States? Oh, are you in the Canary Islands? That's cool. So do we have carnival? Yes, we do, but not really. In the South, there are a few cities, Esther, that do celebrate it a little more, like New Orleans. New Orleans has their own little version of carnival. All right, so yeah, but most of the celebrations of Carnival are in South America and Central America, but we have some, but not a big one. How can you keep learning, Lily? As long as you don't stop, then you keep learning. So just keep learning. Just don't stop. That's it. Okay? So just put though at the end of a contradiction sentence. In general, yeah, that's the idea. In general. There might be a few situations where that doesn't work, but in general, that's the idea. That's the rule. Okay? I like to read books, but I don't have a lot of time, though. Okay, I love to cook, but I also don't have much time though. Okay. So Waleed, carnival is not the same thing as festival. You're thinking of the word festival, a festival or a parade. You're talking about the Thanksgiving Day parade. That's a festival. Okay, a festival is a general word that means some celebration. But carnival is a real that's an actual holiday. That's a specific celebration, not a general one. Okay? Now, New York, does New York have a carnival? Let's take a look. They probably do because it's New York City. They have everything. New York City Carnival, especially specifically the West Indian American Day Carnival, is a massive Labor Day weekend celebration in early September in Crown Heights, Brooklyn. With about 1 million attendees, vibrant costumes, steel pan music, Caribbean food. Yeah, so New York has everything. I'm standing up. Yeah, I used to stand back in, a long time ago when I did my streams. I always stood. Then I just started sitting. But sitting is too long. It's too long to sit. It's too long to sit. What do I know about the prep technique? Most people use this to improve their confidence. Please elaborate. Adnan, the prep technique. Yeah. So what is the prep technique? PREP. It means point, reason, example, point, right? Point, reason, example, point. Yeah. And so it means when you're writing, you make a point, then you give a reason for that point, then you give an example for that point, then you restate your point again. And yeah, that's kind of standard. If you want to debate, or if you want to argue, if you want to give a speech, you need to have organized language. It's really just about organized language. That's it. Okay, so do I use the prep technique? I do use the prep technique, but I use the prep technique in an outline form. So if I am writing something or I'm preparing a speech, I prepare an outline. And the outline will give me all of the main points that I need to say. Okay? All of the main points that I need to say, and in the right order. It's not every word. No. My outline might just have 2 words. It'll say, okay, maybe I'm talking about music. So the first word will say rock. And I'll say, okay, so one kind of music is called rock music. And rock music comes from here and here and here, right? And then the next thing will say jazz. And they'll say another kind of music is jazz music. So I don't write everything. I'm not reading the whole thing, right? I'm not holding a piece of paper and reading. I think that music is about this thing. And sometimes music is blah, 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 blah. No. If you are reading, they are not listening. That's the rule in speech. Now, for writing, it's a little bit different, but the same idea. You still have to organize your thoughts and make a logical argument. It's just about presenting your information in an organized, logical way so that it's easy for someone to understand, to make your points. That's it. Okay? But what I would say is you should practice outlining. You should practice outlining. Okay. And now Derville has changed their language. Now I'm very, very... Derville, where are you from? Are you from the U.S. or not? Because your flag says you're from the U.S. Diallo, if you want to raise your hand, sure. Do you have a question? If you have a question, then yes, you can come talk to me, Diallo. Okay? But you have to have a question. That's the only rule. If you want to come on my stage, you just have to have a question. Okay? Hello, Diallo.
Hello.
How are you, my friend?
Doing good. How about you?
I'm good. And you are in... Is that Senegal?
No, it's Guinea. You know Guinea?
Guinea. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I get sometimes
Oh.
my flags. I forget which flag is which.
Yeah, you're right. Even me, that's happened to me also.
Yeah.
Sometimes I forgot about flags because there is a lot.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Oh, have you been to Guinea before in the past?
No. I wish, but no. I've never been to anywhere over there. I wish I could.
Why? American people they didn't didn't travel a lot. I don't know why.
Well, I love to travel, but I'm not rich.
No, don't say that. You are rich. You are rich. Don't say that. You are healthy. You have everything that you want. I think that you are rich.
Well, I have many things that I'm lucky and I'm blessed about, but traveling is expensive. That's just that, So I would love to travel more, but one
Yeah, I
day.
understand. Because I have noticed that from the internet. When SSP was in his store. I've seen a lot of people crying on the videos. There was crying. That's why. I asked you about traveling because there's a lot of people in the United States they didn't travel.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
Americans do travel, but most Americans only travel in America.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
America's pretty big. And we have a lot to see here. And so that's why many people, they just stay here, So one moment, let me just mute.
Yes.
I'm going to mute your microphone for just a minute. But so most Americans, they travel, but they travel only in the United States, right? And then there are some that do travel to outside of the country, but again, not that many. Only some, right? So I have traveled some. I have been to Asia, and I used to live in Taiwan. I taught English there. And then I've been to Europe, but I haven't traveled that much, but I would love to. Traveling is one of the best ways to learn.
Yeah, this is a lot because when you travel, you can learn a lot about cultures, something like that.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Understand
That's exactly
a
right.
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was I heard that, I saw the videos that many people was crying on the videos about SSP. Do you know him when he was there in Africa? Do you know him?
Who was it?
Speed.
Who was it?
Isu Speed.
Isu
The man who
Speed.
did Dream. Isu Speed.
I don't think I know who that is.
I don't think I know who that is.
Oh, this is the guy from Oyo.
Oh,
In the
okay.
United States.
Oh, okay.
All right, okay.
You know
All
him?
right,
I
okay.
don't think I know who that
Oh,
I
is.
he
don't think I know who that is.
Oh, he did streaming on YouTube,
Oh,
playing
okay.
videos, game.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know
Okay.
YouTube.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know him?
I don't watch YouTube. So,
That's right.
I'm on YouTube. I don't watch YouTube. I'm on YouTube.
Oh, you are on YouTube, but you didn't watch.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
Yeah, right.
but this guy is, he's very known because many people knows him in Africa.
Maybe, but
Maybe.
I just don't spend a lot of
I just
time on
don't spend a-
YouTube.
Oh,
You know?
okay.
Yeah.
I understand now. Yes, I understand now.
So Diallo, your English sounds pretty good.
So,
Yeah, I'm improving. It's not like, I want to like get the native speakers done, but I'm trying to.
Well, guess what, Diallo? Many native speakers don't speak well.
What?
Yeah.
How is that
Yeah.
possible?
Does everyone in your
does
country
everyone in your
speak
country
your language
your
perfectly?
language
No, it's not.
Same in
You are
my
smart.
same in my country.
in my
So
country?
there are many,
Yes.
many
There are
people
many,
here
many people
who do not speak well.
do not speak
They
well.
don't write well.
Oh,
They
I
don't
was guessing
care.
that everybody can speak.
No, they don't care. They don't care about their language.
They-
So if they make mistakes,
they
they
make
don't care.
They didn't care about that. I have understood from, the voice room that I recall, I have understood that because there is a lot of native people. They didn't care about rules,
right.
grammar, like they didn't
That's-
care
that's
anything.
right.
They just talk.
That's right. Yeah, because
That's right,
language
yeah.
is for communication,
For community.
and life is not a grammar test. So,
Okay, let me ask you a question by the way.
So,
go ahead.
What can make us, like,
go ahead.
yeah, what can like help us to speak clearly, without hesitation, something like that? What can help us? As we are not living in like United States, something like that.
So the secret is that
Oh.
you have to learn how
So
to
the
think.
secret is that you have to learn.
I muted your microphone for a minute, Diallo, because there's too much background noise. But just let me answer, and then I'll unmute it again. Okay? So I tell everybody that the secret of speaking a language is thinking language. Everybody, they all come here and they say, my country doesn't have English. My country is not an English environment. That's what they all say. But English environment, there are two English environments. There's the outside English environment, that's this one, and there's the inside English environment. And the problem is you are thinking only about the outside English environment and you're not thinking about the inside English environment. It does not matter where you live, it matters what language you think in. So, Diallo, if you go to the moon, what language do they use on the moon? There is no language there, so you can use any language there. And that means you can think in any language there. So I live in the United States, but I can practice Chinese anytime by thinking in Chinese just while I do my day, right? So I'm just living my life in America in a different language here. Okay, so it does not matter where you live, it matters what you think where you live. So, you can move to any country and you can choose the language that you choose to think in. All right? That's people say if you don't say it, then you'll lose it, right? If you don't use it, you'll lose it. That's what they say. If you don't use it, you'll lose it. But when you think of use, you think of speaking. But words begin in your mind. Words begin here. If you can't think it well, then how can you speak it well? Right? Okay, so that's why language begins by thinking. First you have to think, and then you can speak. All right?
Thank you for
Alright.
that. Thank you.
You're
for that.
welcome.
I have understood a lot of things from you.
Well,
Yeah, because that living in this country at the same time being able to speak English is very challenging, but we are trying to do it because this is something that I like it and I enjoy doing it.
But I
You
can
know, I'm
tell
trying to do
but I can.
you can think in English.
You,
So
I'm
that,
doing it every day.
so that means you can practice anytime.
I make sentences in my head. I don't have anyone to speak to, but sometimes,
That's
when
okay.
I
Me too.
Yeah, when I sit down, yeah, some people tell me that, bro, you are crazy because you are speaking to yourself. But that
No,
can happen because of learning.
it's right. That's
It's
exactly
right.
right.
That's
Yeah.
exactly it.
So,
You know,
So,
mhm.
Diallo, I need to let you go
Gianna, I need
because
to let you
the
go.
connection is a little bit bad, and everybody is hearing a very strong echo. But it's sometimes happens. I don't know why. It's just a
I don't know why
connection
it's just
problem.
a connection
But
problem.
but it was really nice to talk to you, and you asked some good questions. So please come back and see me again sometime, okay?
Thank you.
All right. Take care, my friend.
All right, take care, Brett.
Bye bye.
Sure.
Yes, sorry about that, guys. Sometimes there's an echo that Hello Talk. It happens with Hello Talk, and I can't do anything about it unless I mute his microphone. That's the only thing I can do is mute him. So, yeah. All right. Let's see. Yeah, Diallo. It's not you. It's just Hello Talk. It's just connections. That's just the way it works. Don't worry about it. Okay, so Esther had a question. If you live in an environment where English is spoken, your brain is forced to learn. Well, yeah, of course. Esther, I'm not saying that this method is better than moving to a country. What I'm saying is that 99% of people can't just move to a country that speaks English to practice English. Most people, that's not possible. They're never going to be able to move to the country to learn language. So, this method will work if you can't move to a country where they speak the language. Of course, it's better. If you are living where they speak a language, then of course, it's much better. But not everybody has that choice. Yeah. Why do the letters O-U-G-H sound different in the words tough, though, through, and bow, or bow? There's a long answer for that, Leo. It's about etymology. Where do those words come from is the reason why. So the word though, for example, and the word through, for example, and I think bow also. Let me check bow. Let me see. Bow. Old English, yeah. So all of the words that end with O-U-G-H, there is a reason why we spell them that way but pronounce it a different way. Okay, so listen. A long time ago, the pronunciation of those words was different. A long time ago, the word though was pronounced though. That GH on the end of the word, it used to be this sound. So the word was the. Okay, although. All right? But language changes. And over many, many, many years, the pronunciation changed. But the spelling stayed the same because the spelling tells us about the history of the word. So we don't change the spelling because that connects us to the long history. All right? Now, the other word that you mentioned, take care, Esther. You mentioned the word tough, and I'm pretty sure it's the same, but let me just check. Yeah, it's also Old English. So a long time ago, the pronunciation was different. All right? Yeah. And all of those O-U-G-H words, those are all Middle English, Old English, Germanic. Okay? How to pronounce London, London. Yeah, in Chinese, it's Lundun, Lundun. But in English, it's London, London, London. London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down. You can understand, but it's hard to speak. You gotta try, man. You gotta try. Improvisation, how to do it. Waleed. That's a big question. And Waleed, that's a question for advanced you're still trying to run before you can walk, man. Okay? Improv is what you do at the end. Okay? So, for example, Waleed, in music, if I want to learn how to improvise on the drums, first I must practice all of these exercises. I have to learn all of the most basic exercises so that I have a vocabulary so that I can improvise. So the process of improvising, it starts with building a vocabulary and becoming very familiar and comfortable with that vocabulary. And if you are familiar and comfortable with that vocabulary, then you can improvise. So, Waleed, you gave me a song to play the other day, and I've never heard that song before in my life, but I was able to play along. Why? That's called improvisation, because I have done the work. I did all the basic work all the way up. You're still, this bottom part is still empty. You need to still fill this up, man. You can't just jump to the top. You have to do the bottom, okay? You can't build the roof before you build the foundation. Waleed, you cannot build the roof before you build the foundation. Okay? What can I do to improve my speech? Well, it starts with thinking. If you can't think in English, then you can't speak English. So, start thinking every simple thought that you can have in English, you should have in English. So if you are tired, don't think I'm tired in Spanish or your native language. Think I'm tired in English. If you are hungry, don't think that in your native language. Think that in English. If you want something, think it in English. If you like something, think it in English. Every simple thought that you can have in English, you should have in English. If you say you want to practice, then why don't you? All right? And Molly says, it's difficult for me to pronounce the word sun and sun because Molly, 他们听一样。这是一样的啊，第一次的就是 song。可是这是一样的，中文有 that's the same sound, right? That's a family name. Okay? So, the first one is, I like this song. Ong, 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 ong. 这是中文的 ong. Okay? Right? Ba pa ma fa da ta na la. Ong, ong. Ong, right? Something like that. I can't remember how it goes. Ong, Oh, I forgot. I got a review. All right, so song. And the other two, sun, S-U-N, son, S-O-N. 他们听一样. Those are the same. 听一样. Okay? 说一样的. How to build confidence while speaking, Learner says. Learner, can you ride a bike? Can you ride a bicycle, Learner? Oh, and look, we have people over here. Hello, Jandis, over there in... you like the sound quality in Hello Talk, so that means the sound quality in YouTube is different. I will have to check that and see why. It shouldn't be different, Jandis, but thank you for telling me, so now I can try to figure out why. It should be as good as Hello Talk. I don't know why it wouldn't be. That's weird. Flavia says, I want to go to the park today, but it's cold, though. Do I have to use the but or just though? You can do either, Flavia. You could say, I want to go to the park today, but it's cold, though. Or you could say, I want to go to the park today, it's cold, though. All right, but is probably more complete, but in a casual way, that's fine. All right? All right, so Learner says, yes, you can ride a bike. So Learner, you can ride a bike. And You're comfortable when you ride a bike now, right? But you were not comfortable the first time you rode a bike, right? So how did you become comfortable riding a bike? That's weird. How can the broadcast be better? That doesn't make any sense. That's so weird. I have to figure that out. Every day I didn't practice. So look, it's very simple. Everybody, when they start riding a bike, you're not comfortable. How do you ride a bike and become comfortable? You do it more until you're comfortable. And that is the same thing as every other thing that you learn in life. You have to get comfortable. You cannot get comfortable if you don't do it. If you never ride a bike, you will never be comfortable. So, what do you need to do? Ride the bike. Ride the bike. Okay? Steer clear of something or someone. Game for something. So to steer clear means steering, right? Like you're driving a car. So to steer clear means, look, there's something in the road. I want you to steer around it, very clearly around it. Not close, go way around it. I don't like that thing. Go way around it. That's steer clear of it. That means stay far away from the danger. Steer clear. Okay? To game for something, it depends on the context. I'm not sure where you saw that. So to game for something can just mean to try to get something, to play like it's a game, but I'm not sure where you saw it, so I can't answer that one. Sometimes while I speak with AI, I'm preparing food and I talk it through the process and I spend, right, that's exactly what I'm saying. Just do daily things in English. That's it. Yeah. Learning to ride a bike is easy, but learning a language is not. Libra, but the idea is still the same, Libra. Learning anything is still the process of doing it until you become comfortable. Learning anything is uncomfortable, then comfortable. It's because you do it. That's it. Yes, there are some things that are harder and some things that are easier, but the process is still the same. To become good, you must do it. Okay? If you see, you're on a road, you're on the road and you're driving down the road, and now you see a mountain. You see a big mountain in front of you. And there's a tunnel. There's a tunnel. And the tunnel is dark and scary, and you don't know where the tunnel goes, and you don't know if the tunnel does come out on the other side. You don't know. It's scary. But if you want to get to the other side of that mountain, you have to go through. Okay? Go through the tunnel. Go through the tunnel. It's scary at first, but it's not scary after a while. Okay? While speaking, my mind goes blank. Well, then that means that you don't know how to think in English. You don't think enough. Think in English every day, and then you will be able to speak in English. If you never think in English, then you never will speak comfortably. You must learn how to think in the language that you are speaking. Why is this hard? If you want to speak German, you need to think German. If you want to speak French, you need to think French. If you want to speak Japanese, you need to think Japanese. Why does the big red balloon sound right, but the red big balloon sounds wrong? That's because we have an order of adjectives, Leo. There's something called the order of adjectives, okay? I taught about this yesterday. Yesterday I taught about it. What is it? Wait a minute. There's an acronym that you can learn. It's OSACOMP. Look at this. OSACOMP. OSACOMP means opinion, size, age, shape, color, origin, material, purpose. Sometimes people say NOSACOMP, and the letter N is number, right? So, for example, I have 4 delicious, delicious, big, new, fat, green apples. Right? So OSACOMP means opinion, size, age, shape, color, origin, material, purpose. That will help you to learn those. And how to think English if it's not your native language. When they teach you anything, you have to learn how to think it. So, if I teach you German, okay, I'm going to teach you some German right now, okay? So, I want you to say Guten Tag. Guten Tag means good day in German. Means hello. All right? So now I taught you Guten Tag. And now the rest of the day, everywhere you go, when you see someone in your mind, you should think Guten Tag. Okay? Wie geht's? Wie geht's means how are you? Wie geht's? How are you doing? Okay, so now you should walk down the street, and every time you see a person, in your head, you should say, Guten Tag, wie geht's? When you learn the language, you need to learn it up here. It's not just reading and writing and listening and speaking, it's also thinking. How can you write or read or listen or think well? I'm sorry. How can you write or read or listen or speak well if you can't think well? If you cannot think in that language, then you cannot speak well. If you cannot think in that language, you cannot write well. If you cannot think in that language, you can't read or listen well. So you must learn how to think in the language. I cannot tell you how many times I have said that. Start from your mobile, change it to English. That's one thing you can do, sure. You can try to change the language on your phone, and that will force you to. Okay? What does the P stand for in OSCOMP? It is purpose. Purpose. Like, is it for gardening? Is it for shopping? Is it for riding? Is it for driving? It's the purpose. Okay? I always like to quote, there's a famous guy from Persia. His name, well, in Persia they call him Maulana, and in English we call him Rumi. And he has a quote that I love that I think is so great. I'm going to tell it to you now. He said, all of your anxiety comes from seeking harmony. Seek disharmony and you will find peace. So he said, all of your anxiety, all of the fear that you have, all of those bad feelings you have, those feelings come because you're seeking comfort. But you can't be comfort. You can't have comfort if you didn't go through it. Comfort is something you get by being uncomfortable. You keep being uncomfortable, and then eventually you are comfortable. So the secret of comfort is uncomfortable. You have to be uncomfortable. Discomfort is the secret. That's the word I was looking for. Okay? To be good, you must be willing to be bad. How about that? To be good, you must be willing to be bad. I should create a slogan, I know, but it's like everyone. It's the number one most important thing that I say here. And it's crazy to me that this is not something that is taught in every language course in the world. Every single language course in the world should be telling you that you should learn how to think in the language. I cannot understand how there are not many people saying this. I'm not the only one, but there are not many. And that's crazy. It's so basic and so obvious and so simple, and yet no one pays attention. Okay, so I have been here for 1 hour and 45 minutes, and I might play some music here in a minute. This is my YouTube channel. This is my website. And this is my blog. Yeah, that's what I said. P is for purpose. Yeah, didn't I? I did say that. Why are some people very good with English, like speaking and writing? It seems like a God gift. I do learn the language from my childhood. So, Holy wants to know, why are some people good with language? Some people are good with everything, man. Some people are good at cooking, some people aren't. Okay? But, let me tell you something. In life, there are some people who have natural talent, and they're amazing. It's like God, right, said, look, you have a talent, right? That does happen. But there is a rule that you must know. Hustle. Do you know what the word hustle means? Hustle. What does hustle mean? H-U-S-T-L-E. H-U-S-T-L-E. To hustle. What does that mean? Hustle means try hard. It means try harder. Work more. Do more. Okay? So that's what hustle means, right? When I was a boy and I played on the soccer team and I'm running out on the field and the coach will say, hustle, hustle, means go, 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 run. Okay? So in English, we have a quote. Hustle beats talent when talent doesn't hustle. Hustle beats talent when talent doesn't hustle. So what that means is there are some people who are really talented, but sometimes they're lazy. But there are some people who are not naturally talented, but they worked hard. And guess what? Hard work always wins. Hard work always wins. So, hustle beats talent when talent doesn't hustle. If GH sounds like F and tough and O sounds like I and women and TI sounds like S, so why do we spell the word fish and goatee? So Leo, English comes from many, many languages, Leo. 60% of English words come from Latin or Greek. 30% of English words come from French. 20% of English words come from German. We have many English words that come from Arabic. Some come from Hindi. Some come from Persian. Some come from Chinese. Some come from Japanese. Some come from Italian. And some come from Spanish. So, when you take all those words from many, many different languages, you're going to have a lot of different spellings and a lot of different pronunciations and a lot of different ways to do things. So you're looking for one rule because you think it's one language, Leo. It's not. English is a mix of a bunch of languages. So because it's a mix of many languages, the rules are not so easy. Okay? You haven't seen people who are talented but lazy yet? I have. It's actually very common. It's really common because sometimes when something is very easy for you, you forget that you need to work. When something is very easy for you, it doesn't challenge you, and so you don't push yourself. So I've seen it a lot in the music world. Many, many people who were really talented, so talented, but they just didn't keep working hard. And so this guy used to be way better than me. He was so much more talented, but then I worked hard and he didn't. Okay? You can't understand the logic of it because there is no logic that's one. There is a logic that is many. Leo, this is something that's my hobby. It's called etymology. It means the history of where words come from and how they've changed over time. Okay, so give me an English word and I'll tell you where it comes from. Like the word shampoo. What does shampoo mean? Jungle. What does jungle mean? What was another one that comes from there? There are a bunch of them, but those are Hindi, right? Shampoo is a word that means massage, right? Bazaar, right? Market, right? So you're looking for a logic from one language, but there is no one language. It's many languages, okay? And thank you, Ing. All right. You need to win the hard things. You will grow up not only to do the easy things. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. And that's the beauty of when you do something that's really hard and you work at it and you learn how to do something, like really do it. Many of you've never really learned how to do anything well. Many people, I think most people, most people in the world have never really studied anything deeply. It's sad. It's sad. But once you learn, once you do one, now you know you can, and you can do others. So you should find one and you should do it. Pick something that you love and learn it. Why is the sound quality different in my YouTube? Let's see. All right. There are lots of words in English that you write something and you pronounce something else, so it's confusing. I know. Yeah, I'm very well aware. I know. It's a difficult language because the spelling is weird, because there's so many different influences. I know, but you just have to. I know you want me to tell you a secret, but there is no secret. That's the secret. If you want to know something, then know it. There's your secret. If you want to know something, then know it. Okay? Stop looking for shortcuts and just start doing it. Hello, Enzo. I always liked that name. Who's in my audience today? Hello to all the regulars. I see lots of regulars here. Teach you why British English and American English are different. History, that's why. We had a war. So, Loy, in Korea, the table in front of your couch, what do you call that table? In Korean, what would that be? What would it translate as? Is it called a tea table in Korean? The table in front of your couch, is that called a tea table in Korean? Anyone? I'm guessing that it is, because that's the way it is in Chinese. In Chinese, they have a table in front of the in front of the couch, right? And that table in China, that's called a tea table. But what do we call it in America? We don't call it a tea table because Americans don't really drink tea. So what do we call it here? We call it a coffee table. So, why do Americans drink coffee and not tea? Because we had a war. We had a fight. America started as a British colony. Okay, the United States of America was originally a British colony. Okay? And we fought a war against them, and then we separated. And when that happened, a big cultural shift happened. So Americans don't drink tea, we drink coffee, because the Brits drink tea, and that they were our enemy at one time. Okay? So it was mostly about that change, that shift. When we broke away and became independent, the culture became independent, and then it developed differently. Okay, so we developed different language, we developed different foods, we developed different music, we developed lots of different things, culture. But it's because we started as a British colony and then we broke away. Okay? Yeah, and in India you call it a tea table because, again, India was colonized by the Brits, right? The word tea is funny. The word tea today is spelled T-E-A, but it used to be spelled T-A-E, and then before that it was spelled T-A-Y, and it was pronounced tay, not tea. And then before it was T-A-Y, tay, it was chay, C-H-A-Y. And then before it was chay, it was chai. And before it was chai, it was cha. The English call it tea. But before it was tea, it was te. And before it was te, it was chai, which is the Indian word. And where does the Indian word for tea come from? It comes from the Chinese word, cha. So the Chinese say cha, the Indians say chai, and chai became te, and te became tea. But tea is a great example of how pronunciations change, spelling changes. Okay? And hello, Islam. In Persian, we call it chai. That's right. Yeah. But why do you call it that? Because historically, where did you get tea from? It was from the Silk Road, from the trades from India, which then was from China. Chai in Russian means tea. Right. This is all history, everybody. This is all about the history of trade. How do languages get mixed? How do languages get mixed? There are two big ways that languages get mixed. One is war, and the other is trade. Okay? So, for example, my family, my mother's family is from Ireland and England, okay? But some of my blood is from Northern Europe. Why? Because the Northern Europeans used to trade and fight a lot with England and Ireland and the UK area before it was the UK. Okay? So that's why they exchanged language a lot. Why are there so many French words in the English language? Because the French and the British fought over and over and over. Okay? So that's why they exchanged culture and language. There were times in England when French was the language. It was the language of the aristocrats. Okay, it was the language of law in England when the French ruled. Okay? In British English, water is still pronounced as water. Water. But it's not. Every language has many accents. In America, we have more than 30 accents. This is one. Okay? Now, when I say the word water, I say it two different ways. When I say it slowly, I will pronounce the hard T. I would like some water. But when I say it quickly, the hard T gets cut in half. And now it becomes water. It's like a soft D. Okay? Guys, language, food, and music. You don't understand just how mixed up all of these things are and have been for hundreds of years, thousands of years sometimes. In history, we traded lots of things with Koreans and Chinese. That's right. That's the Silk Road, it was called. The Silk Road. So there are lots of words and languages and things that got exchanged. Okay? In America, we say, long time no see. That's Chinese. 好久不见. Why do we say that? Because a long time ago, there were many sailors that were doing business with people in Asia. And on the dock, when they're talking on the dock, they would say, oh, hello, long time no see. Okay? If you really want to know about language, you have to learn about history. If you really want to know about language. If you really want to know about food, you have to know about history. If you really want to know about music, you have to know about history. Okay, those are my three big things that I know about. Language, food, and music. History is pretty much everything. What does history mean? It says it right there in the word. The word story is in there. That's what history is. It's stories. History became the thing that we write down. But before we wrote it down, what did we do? We told stories. So that's what history is. It's the stories of our people. It's right there in the word, story. It is. That's what it is. They're stories. Yeah. Okay. Guess what? I want to play some music, so I'm going to do that. I told you I am a drummer, so I have been teaching for 2 hours now. So now it's time for me to have some fun. So I am going to go back on my drums and put some music on and play a few songs. Okay? You don't have to stay, but you know what? Let me just say, isn't it a little bit rude? Isn't it a little bit rude if I stay here for 2 hours and I'm here teaching you and I'm doing everything I can to help you, and then you won't watch me perform for just a few minutes? Don't you think that's a little rude? Even if you don't like music, even if you don't like what I do back there, don't you think you should appreciate it because of what I do for you? Maybe? Thank you, Louise. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Do I think piano and drum can sound combined with each other? Technically, the piano is considered a drum, actually, because inside the piano, they have those hammers, and the hammers hit the strings. So any instrument that involves hitting is called a percussion instrument. So technically, a piano is a drum. And yes, I love drums and piano together. I play a little bit of piano, and those are my two favorite instruments. So I'm going to go back on my drums, but you need to wait for just 1 minute. I have to change cameras, but I can't change cameras while I'm in the room. So I have to leave the room, and then I'll be back in 2 minutes. I just need to turn the different camera on and go back and sit there and change the microphones. So please just wait 2 minutes, and then I'll be right back, okay? And over in my YouTube, if you guys are over there in my YouTube, I'm going to end my YouTube because I don't want to be playing music on YouTube because they mute everything. Okay, so if you're on YouTube, you can come back to my Hello Talk if you can. If not, then okay. All right.